Today, I'm going to share a theory with you that Willow was not originally a Willow game. So shortly after the creation of Mega Man, Capcom started to recognize the value of having really strong characters in their games. And so they started looking at outside sources, other companies who developed IPs and characters, and they brought in the team from Legendary Wings and Mega Man to say, let's make this great new action RPG based off of the new George Lucas franchise, Willow. Given the popularity of the Legend of Zelda franchise at the time, it makes sense that Willow was a Zelda-style action RPG. Sword swinging, magic wielding, all the basics, right? Which is kind of odd because Willow didn't wield a sword in the original movie. But we'll get to that. You start out as Willow in his hometown, you meet his family, you meet his friends, and you go off on an adventure. Very first thing that you do is you go into a cave where you fight a skeleton thief and meet a dragon. And none of these things, of course, are from the film. And in fact, the dragon that you meet doesn't look like a dragon from the Willow universe. He looks like a traditional fantasy dragon. The dragons from the Willow universe are actually big, ugly, long-necked monstrosities. Continue on, you go into these Deadlands where you meet Mad Mardigan from the film. Just placed in the road. He's literally just an NPC. You walk up and you get a little text box with him, and then you continue on with your adventure, all right? At about the halfway point of the game, you meet Fin Raziel, which is the old lady that was kind of the good guy old lady in the film, and you meet Sorsha, who is evil Queen Bavmorda's daughter from the film. And at that point, things that you do, for the most part, save one, which I'll get to, are things that reflect the movie, complete with, the brownies and their love potion and bringing Fin Raziel back from being various types of animals. And the quests that you do are going to places from the movie Willow. There is a point, as I mentioned earlier, in which it strays again from the film, and it's because it was the story that you originally started out to do. This idea that there are these two twin towers that are kind of the opposites of each other, and you have to climb up to the top of both towers for a magic ritual. And that's absolutely not from the film. And then you finish the game by going to Bavmorda's castle and defeating her, and you end up fighting the skull-faced dude, whatever his name is, and it's all, again, very Willow. So, what do I think happened here? It's actually pretty clear that they were building an action RPG and had about half the game done by the time they landed the Willow license. And that RPG was about climbing up to the top of two towers to do a magic ritual or something along those lines. And then you land the license for something like Willow, and all of a sudden, this takes precedence. So you take that original game, you insert Willow references through all the stuff you've already built, which is mostly just art swaps. You just go into a townsperson's place and they swapped out the art for a family member of Willow's instead. And then you build the rest of the game to match Willow. Something to remember about these old 8-bit games is that they very often were built in chronological order. Developers would start at the start and end at the end. And I believe that's what Capcom did here. I believe that they were building an action RPG and then got the Willow license and stuck Willow in it. And this isn't a bad thing. This actually turned out to be a really solid Zelda-style adventure and a game that I really enjoyed playing all the way through. That even though it probably wasn't a Willow game at the beginning, it did a pretty good job by the end of reflecting the personality and the fun of Willow. You get those moments in which the brownie's love potion causes Mad Mardigan to fall in love with Sorsha and she's just confused. You get the moment where Fin Raziel is turned into an animal and Willow keeps casting the wrong spell, transforming her into different animals.
Willow! You idiot!
And all this stuff happens after you've already been through most of the stuff that appears to have been built before it was a Willow game. If you have played through it, or if you do play through it, I'd love to get your thoughts. Do you think this started as a Willow game? Or do you think I'm right, and that they may have transformed some other action RPG into Willow? I'd love to hear your thoughts down there in the comments, and if you want to see more videos like this, or game reviews, or pickups videos, or pretty much anything I feel like putting up on YouTube, hit that subscribe button down there, hit that bell next to it, it'll notify you whenever I put something new up. So I thank you for your time, and I hope you have a great day.